Hello, marketing legends. Welcome to Marketing News Now with your host, James Harold Meeker, broadcasting from the Silicon Valley hills of Austin, Texas. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. And no, this is not April Fool's. We are broadcasting on Wednesday. Today is a big one. It's no April Fool's, folks. I'm going to share the details with you on the Anthropic open source fiasco. So let's unpack this right now and get started. Yesterday morning, Anthropic accidentally open sources Claude code, and the internet is keeping it forever. Anthropic just gave away its secret sauce. Not intentionally, but the internet doesn't care about that. Here's what happened. In the early hours of March 31st, Anthropic pushed version 2.1.88 of its Claude code package to NPM, the Node Package Manager Registry, which is the public database developers use to download and update software tools. Bundled inside that routine update was a 59.8 megabyte JavaScript source map file. The source maps are internal debugging tools meant to connect compressed production code back to the original readable source. They're never supposed to ship to the public. This one did. By 4:23 a.m. Eastern Time, Shofan Shao, an intern at Solaire Labs, spotted the file and posted it out on X. The post included a direct download link to the full archive. That single post acted as a digital flare. Within hours, the 512,000-line TypeScript codebase spanning roughly 1,900 files was mirrored across GitHub and being analyzed by thousands of developers worldwide. One GitHub repository hosting the leaked code surpassed 50,000 stars in under 2 hours, a reported record for the platform. The code has been forked more than 41,500 times. The internet has it, and it's not going to give it back. Anthropic confirmed the incident and released a statement. The leak was a release packaging issue caused by human error, not a security breach, and no sensitive customer data or credentials were involved. The company said it's rolling out measures to prevent this from happening again. Now the cow's out of the barn. What the company didn't say was how it plans to unring a bell that had already been heard by tens of thousands of developers. Now let's talk about what actually was inside, because this is where it gets interesting for anyone who buys, builds, or competes with enterprise AI tools. The leaked code exposed the full internal architecture of Claude Code, its engine for processing AI API calls, and how it handles streaming responses, its tool call loops, token counting mechanisms, and permission models. Developers combing through the source found 44 internal feature flags representing capabilities that are not fully built but yet released to the public. These include a persistent background agent that keeps working while the user's idle, a session review system that lets Claude study its own past work to improve future performance, and remote control capabilities allowing users to direct Claude code from a phone or separate browser. In short, the leak handed every competitor a detailed product roadmap that Anthropic had no intention of publishing. There's also what's being called an undercover mode. It's an internal system explicitly designed to scrub all traces of Anthropic's AI involvement from a public Git commit messages when Claude Code operates inside an open source repository. The idea was to prevent internal model code names from surfacing in public logs. The irony of the secrecy system being exposed in a leak of the century is the kind of thing that would make a code kitty blush. This leak is Anthropic's second major data exposure in under a week. Fortune reported just days ago that the company had left nearly 3,000 files publicly accessible, including a draft post detailing a powerful upcoming model known internally as Mythos and Capybara. The Claude Code source code leak confirms that Capybara as a real internal code name for Claude, a 4.6 variant. It also reveals that Anthropic's engineers are already on iteration 8 of that model. and that the iteration 8 carries a false claim rate of 29 to 30%. This is a notable regression from the 16.7% rate recorded in its fourth version. That's not making a headline Anthropic would have chosen, and something you should consider if you're thinking about using this code. There's also an active security concern worth flagging for anyone who updated Claude Code via an NPM between 12:21 and 3:39 a.m. on March 31st. A separate supply chain attack introduced a remote access Trojan, or what's called a RAT, into a widely used software package called Axios, which Claude Code relies on as a dependency. If your team updated Claude Code, ran npm during that window, check your project log files for Axios version 1.14.1 or 0.30.4 if those versions are present. Treat the machine as compromised. Rotate all credentials and perform a clean reinstall. Anthropic has redesigned its native installer. It's available at claude.ai/install.sh as the recommended installation method going forward, specifically because this bypasses the NPM dependency chain entirely. For enterprise marketing and technology leaders, the strategic read on this story is straightforward. Claude Code generates an estimated $2.5 billion in annualized recurring revenue for Anthropic, with 80% that's coming from enterprise clients. Those enterprise clients are paying, in part, for the belief that the technology powering their workflows is proprietary and protected. That belief took a meaningful hit today. Competitors from OpenAI to Cursor to any well-funded startup now have a free engineering education on how Anthropic built one of the most commercially successful AI coding tools ever shipped. Does this sink Anthropic? No, probably not, but they do have other problems on top of these. The underlying model weights, the actual AI, were not exposed. The core competitive advantage remains intact. But this is the second major operational security failure in a week from a company that markets itself as the safety-first AI lab. If you're an enterprise buyer evaluating AI vendors, operational security hygiene is now the line item, your due diligence checklist that you'll spend the most time on. And if you're a product marketeer or a brand strategist at any AI company, this episode is a case study in what happens when the gap between your public positioning and your internal reality gets closed by somebody else. Thank you for dropping in on Marketing News Now podcast. Please like and follow and share these news and other marketing related posts. It helps the channel and helps me, and we appreciate it. As always, I'll place the source materials in the comments section for you to research the topic further. There are a lot of technical details today. Please share your ideas and comments in the section below as well. And remember, no matter how bad of a day that you have, it's not an Anthropic bad. Goodbye.